Welcome, everybody. Please give us a few more moments to make sure that all families have been able to log in. We'll get started momentarily. Hi, folks. Please give us a few more moments to make sure that all families have been able to log in, and we'll get started in a few more minutes. Hi, everybody. Give us just a few more moments rather, to make sure that all families have been able to log in, and we'll get started shortly. Hello, everybody. Give us a few more seconds to make sure that families have been able to log in, and we'll just get started soon. Hello all, my name is Ronaldo Luna-Gackett, and I want to welcome you to the fourth and final webinar in our summer 2021 family webinar series. Tonight, I am joined by my colleagues, Katharine Pei, Director of the First Year Center, and Raven Robinson, Assistant Director for Housing Operations. We are so excited that you've chosen to join us for tonight's conversation. Some information before we get started. First, we want to make sure you know how to submit questions during this webinar. You will notice that we've given you the ability to ask questions via the Q&A feature. Our professional staff within the First Year Center are helping to field these questions. To make sure you know how to use the Q&A feature, please share the place that you're watching from, and we will name a few of them on air. While you do that, we will be showing a PowerPoint created by our panelists during tonight's webinar. However, if you prefer to download this PowerPoint and follow along on your own, please use the link that was just shared in the chat. As a note, in the chat feature, we will be sharing links and email addresses for the duration of the webinar. Third, this webinar is being recorded live. Next week, it will be uploaded to the families.woostel.edu website. Lastly, in a moment, we will hear from our panelists about Move-In Day and Bare Beginnings. If something they say sparks a question, don't forget to send it to us using the Q&A feature. After their presentation, we will move into the Q&A portion of the evening. Before passing things along, I want to share some of the places people are joining us from. We have families tuning in from Portland, Oregon, Cleveland, Ohio, Hoboken, New Jersey, among many other locations. Now, since I know you all want to hear more about Move-In Day and Bare Beginnings, I will first turn it over to our panelists, beginning with Raven.
Hello, everybody. My name is Raven. I'll be giving a nice little presentation on behalf of Residential Life. If you don't know me, I'm sure I've emailed you once or twice, but now you see my face, so let's just get started. We'll be doing a quick overview on how you get prepared to come to campus, how you get here, and then once you get here, how you'll get checked in and then get settled into your room. So as you get prepared for your arrival, if you haven't already, which I'm sure you all have, view your room assignment, and then also check your move-in time. The move-in time is crucial because we're trying to manage safety for everyone and also trying to manage traffic flow. So if you're having issues with your time, please just shoot us an email and we will get to you as soon as we are able to. Also, check your immunization status. If you haven't read the website yet, if you're not getting that done before you get here, it could truly delay your move-in. So make sure you're getting your immunization paperwork done. Make sure you're reviewing our policies and our procedures. So if you're trying to bring certain items, you can review our prohibited items on our website. If you have questions about how we're doing things, we have FAQs on our website as well. So view all of those and always double check. My goodness, everyone, it's the evening, so I apologize. But double check your packing list before you come. Once you get to campus, you'll arrive within your move-in time frame. The time frame is provided for you to check in, and then you will have the remainder of the day or the remainder of the time that you have to unload and get all settled into your room. You'll arrive at Simon Lots. So I know not many of you have been to campus, but it is Simon Hall. We tried to put some coordinates in there for you, but Simon Lot, you'll arrive there, you'll check in, and then you'll go right to the 40 to get unloaded. So it should be a nice, quick, and easy process. Parents and families, you'll park long-term in our East End garage, and we will also have shuttles for you all. So let's just all cross our fingers for not the heat that we've had today, but we will have shuttles for you all going from the East End back to Simon Lot. And on our website, we have very detailed maps of how you can understand how the check-in process will work this year. After you retrieve your key, and just a few other couple of things, you'll unload directly at your building. You'll receive some nice professional volunteer assistance. So if many of you were preparing to, wear the certain tennis shoes and wear the certain shirt to get your students moved in, you can wear your nice clothes because we will have people helping you with those things this year. And then if you are considered an early arrival, just know that on the website, we have specific directions for you on how you need to arrive to campus and where you need to pick up your key. Those directions will be different than Simon Lot. So you'll want to make sure you view our website and our emails. Oh, I just wanted to reiterate that doesn't include August 20th. I apologize. So August 20th is outlined on our website. So this is an example of the map that you'll see on the website. So as students get checked in, you'll see a lovely bear driving the car. I know that's not normal, but that's our mascot. So the bear is driving the car, the bear pulls in, you'll see we have space for folks who are arriving by rideshare or Uber, Lyft. We will have a luggage check there for you all so you can get checked in nice and easy. I know we've had a few of those questions, so we are prepared for what we think is almost every scenario. So if you come, we will be prepared for you at Simon Lot, and then you'll just skedaddle on down to the 40. There'll be 2 lanes, and many of you have asked questions about placards. You will fill those out when you get here. You'll receive either one for lane 1 or lane 2, depending on where you're living, and you'll head right to your building and get unloaded. What's in your room? So there's an adjustable twin XL bed. Make sure you're getting twin XL. Don't buy full or don't buy queen. Get twin XL. There'll be a mattress for you to lay your head on. And all of our buildings are carpeted, which is amazing because when it gets cold, it's just nice to have carpet under your feet. There'll be some desk chairs. Well, not chairs, but there'll be a desk chair for you. Blinds, a closet for a wardrobe, a dresser, trash can, and recycling. Central air. Wireless internet, and I believe I'm cut off on the bottom there, but that's okay. You can see it. And then if you need to learn more about the room dimensions, we have those listed on our website. We also have beautiful new virtual housing tours on our website this year, and we're always trying to add to those. So if you don't see your building this year, you may see it next year. By then, you'll already be acclimated, so you're all good. But nonetheless, we do have those available to you to see what you're coming into. Again, don't forget to bring your immunization paperwork if necessary, but we recommend you completing that before you come. Label your belongings with your full name, your building, and your room number. If you want to put a phone number on there too, that could be easy, that could help us out as well. But put your full name, your building, and your room number. It's easier for us. That way we know exactly where to take your belongings when you're getting unloaded, and everything will go nice and smooth. The last thing is to bring a photo ID. When you arrive, you may be able to tell us who you are, but we need to verify who you are. So just make sure you bring a photo ID. And then information on bringing a U-Haul. So on our website, we have detailed information about a U-Haul. We know that many of you have a lot of things, and that is okay. But U-Hauls are being asked to unload in our church parking lot. Those details are on our website. This is because U-Hauls tend to slow down our traffic and take up about 2 to 3 car spaces when we're trying to move things through. And so it may seem like it's a quick unload, but if you have a full car and a U-Haul, that's 2 to 3 cars we could have been unloading in that space. So we just ask everyone to be courteous of other vehicles trying to come on move-in day. Go shopping on move-in day. Don't try to bring your whole room on the day. That way you're able to kind of see what you need and get a feel for your room. And you won't even know the feng shui until you get there. So you just need to see what you're working with. And then the last thing is take a very close look at the website. We try to give you as much detail as possible, but if you have questions, please let us know.
Thank you so much, Raven, for sharing that information. I have an initial question that I know many families may be wondering. How can students find their move-in time?
Students can find their move-in time by logging on to their WashU housing portal. Once you log on, you just scroll down and you'll see your date and your time. I know some folks have had some issues viewing that, but if you email us quickly, we'll make sure you get the right information and that'll be no problem. But you just log on, scroll down, and it'll be right there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Raven. Katharine will now share information related to Bare Beginnings Fall Welcome. Katharine?
Yes, thank you so much. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our fall welcome and our parent and family orientation schedule so that you can know what to expect after you've gone through the really smooth move-in process that our residential life operation is able to offer everyone. And so first, I want to direct you to the chat. My colleague is going to put in a link to some of our schedules so that you can look at those yourself. But what we're offering is that we want to make sure that our students feel connected to WashU and begin to build their community here. And so over the summer, they've already heard from their Washington University student associate, who is a first-year peer mentor, serves as their orientation leader in the coming weeks, and then will be with them through the whole first year as a mentor. They've already had those phone calls. And this week, we're launching our summer engagement series so that students can connect with one another. Actually, right before this webinar, there was an Instagram live so that students could see a tour of some of the residential spaces. I know one of our faculty fellows was able to pop on to talk about how excited he is to have more residents on campus, because his first year as a faculty fellow on the South 40 was last year, and it wasn't quite the same experience that we have in non-COVID times. And then our office also offers parent and family support for parents of all undergraduate students. So whether you are a parent of a first-year student, a transfer student, an exchange student, or maybe you have a senior student as well as a first-year student, we're here with you during that entire time as a member of the WashU community. I'm going to give a little warning real quick. Actually, I have a toddler who's not feeling well through this door over here. So if you hear yelling in a second, I promise she's fine. She just isn't feeling really well, and I can hear her getting a little louder. So if you hear yelling, I promise my kid is fine. She just needs some extra snuggles today. So first, I'm going to review the parent and family orientation schedule. In the chat, you can see a link to this schedule, and it'll be a little bit easier to read probably than this little bubble on here. But if your students are arriving on Friday, August 20th, they'll arrive at their move-in time, they'll get settled as Raven just discussed, and then that evening, there's a chancellor's welcome for the students and families who arrive on the 20th. That evening, late in the evening, your student will be required to attend a residential community meeting at 9 p.m. And that residential community meeting is so that the RA can introduce themselves. They can cover some really key logistics like what to do if you get locked out of your room. We live in Missouri, so we have tornadoes. So folks from the coast may not be familiar with our siren system. We want to make sure everyone knows where to go in case there's one of those. And they'll cover a few other points about living in community with one another. For those arriving on Saturday, the 21st, the schedule for move-in is the same as Raven just spoke about. In the evening, we suggest that you go to dinner on your own. And then that night, the chancellor is hosting a welcome for all students and families outside on one of our main quadrangle areas. Well, there will be a band, the chancellor and our vice chancellor for student affairs will speak and welcome you. And then we have a small gift to give you as well. And for the students who arrive on the 21st, you need to go to your residential community meeting that night. So if you arrive on the 20th, you go to your meeting on the 20th. If you arrive on the 21st, you go to your meeting on the 21st. You do not need to go to both of those. It's the same content. We just, again, want to make sure people know what to do if they get locked out, who the RA is, and those turnative signs are really important in the Midwest. And then on Sunday, for our families, we invite you to a series of sessions about the university life. So Parents as Partners is an opportunity for our colleagues in student affairs to share with you about some key resources for your student to have a successful first year. The deans of the schools will have meetings for families. There'll be a resource fair over lunch, and then the afternoon there's a few more sessions you can choose from, and then time for you to say goodbye to your student, make sure that you did that last target run or travel home. For those of you who might not be able to be with us in person, we will be recording and live streaming many, if not all of the sessions during parent family orientation. And that information will be on our website next week, which will tell you which events are live streamed versus which ones are going to be recorded and posted later. It depends on the room. We would love to live stream all of them, but not all of our classrooms have the capability. So these are the items of note that I just mentioned that you might be interested in attending. There's more information that can be found on the website in the chat. I do want to say that RSVPs are required. If you have not had a chance to RSVP, please do so now. Due to our COVID protocols, we're trying to track really closely who's on campus to make sure we can anticipate everyone who's here. And the Chancellor's Welcome has a pretty cool gift for all of our family members, and I want to make sure we have enough of those for you as well. After your student moves in, we also are going to ask that you check in at the first year center on the day that you move in. So we're asking the families to check in. When you come to the first year center, we're going to remind you to make sure that you complete your visitor screening so that it's a public health protocol. That way, again, we can track who's on campus, ensure that if contact tracing were needed, we can do so. But it's also where we're going to give you a ticket to get that really cool gift that the Chancellor is going to give out at the welcome on Saturday. We will also have wash you masks for all of our family members, as well as maps of campus, guides to local dining and shopping, et cetera, to make your visit to St. Louis a little more smooth. And then our fall welcome schedule, I'm not going to go through this in detail. You can review it on our website, but everywhere you see in red is when your student is going to be busy and have some required programs during fall welcome. So you can see that we've set aside time on the weekend when you arrive with your student to have connections with them, to get settled and say your final goodbyes. And then starting Sunday evening, your student is going to be very busy. Some of the highlights of our fall welcome program include that we have convocation, which is the formal academic welcome for our students. Because of COVID, it's going to be at the end of the week this year. It's a week-long program, and we ensure that our students can experience the residential community, their academic experiences, and then we have an immersive part of orientation at the end of the week where students will have the opportunity to explore St. Louis and visit some of our local highlights, which include Forest Park, which is the largest urban park in America. There's a free zoo, a history museum, an art museum. We'll take folks downtown to the Arch, and there will be some neighborhood walking tours as well. For those of you who are joining us who are families of our transfer or exchange students, we're excited to have you join the Washington University community as well. And this is the schedule for your student, and you can view that in the chat as well. Some of the highlights for our transfer and exchange students include that they will have those academic experiences. There's a lot of programming to get them acclimated to St. Louis because they may have, 1 or 2 less years in St. Louis than our first year students. And then there's a lot of time for community building. We know that for our students who have transferred from another institution, they, haven't had a chance to get to know the WashU community, and we want to make sure that they're immersed in all that we have to offer. These are some of the topics we're going to discuss with your student during Bare Beginnings. They're going to hear from their academic division to understand their academic commitments, what support systems are in place for them to be successful. We discuss community living. For a lot of our students, it's the first time that they will, maybe share a room with someone else, share a bathroom, live in community with others. There's conversations about safety and security, because when living away from home, it might be a little bit different than where you're from. We discuss health and well-being, because wellness is also really important for us at WashU. Diversity and inclusion, and there's always at a university, spirit and tradition. So I didn't go over this during the schedule, but the students will all attend an athletic event together as well. And so some conversations to have with your student before move-in day. I hope that you've already started those, but if not, please discuss your expectations for your student as they come to college. Because they are a university student, there's a lot less information that we'll be sharing with you than you may have received while your student was in high school or secondary school. We won't be sharing grades with you. So it's an expectation that you know your students' grades. They're going to need to share those with you, and you should have that conversation with them now. Have a plan for communication. I know there's so many forms of communication now. I was not the best when I went to college. I didn't call my parents for like 6 weeks. It's because we didn't have cell phones, and I didn't know how to use the answering machine in my residence hall room. I have all kinds of excuses, right? But it was terrible for my parents. So please make sure you have an expectation. How often are you going to connect? Are you going to do that? You're going to have a call that's scheduled every few days. Are you going to text daily? Are you going to FaceTime so you can see the family dog, etc.? Make sure your students prepared for independent living. So this one, I'm going to get some laughs, but make sure your student knows how to do laundry. If they haven't had a chance to practice that yet, they should start now. And then again, lastly, the expectations are on seeing your students' grades. We know that's really important to many family members, and so start having that conversation now. And then action items your student should complete this month. The health history and immunization records were due in July. We know there are just a very small number of our students who have not yet submitted their proof of the COVID vaccination or submitted their medical or religious exemption. If you are one of those students, if you're a family member of one of those students, please do it as soon as possible. We really need that information. Part of the success of us opening this fall and be as open as possible is that all of our employees and all of our students will be fully vaccinated. Transfer any medical records or prescriptions to Habit Health and Wellness. Just review one last time all those checklist items, and then make sure that you've signed up for a UPass. It's a free transit card for all St. Louis public transportation, and it really is one of the most valuable things we offer at WashU. And then, make sure you're all packed.
Thank you so much, Katharine, for sharing that information. I do have a question I thought of as you were presenting. We know families receive a convocation box in the mail every August. Can you share with families what that box may include?
Sure. So as I briefly mentioned before, convocation is one of our long traditions at WashU. It's the official academic welcome for our incoming students. And we really were hoping that our families were going to be able to join us in person for convocation. Due to our COVID-19 protocols, we are holding convocation at the end of our fall welcome week. And so families, if you have not yet received a red box in the mail that says convocation on the outside, welcome to WashU, you'll be getting it shortly. I think folks in St. Louis, you probably are getting it today or tomorrow. Folks who live on the coast, you will get it in the next week. It will be there before convocation on August 28th. And in that box, there's a pom-pom, a pennant, a recipe for gooey butter cake, which is a St. Louis dessert staple that your students will be having that evening after convocation. And there will also be 2 postcards in there so that you can send your student some mail, maybe, around midterms, and then again, closer to Thanksgiving. I think one of the highlights of many of our college students is getting a letter or a care package in the mail from their families. And so we wanted to provide you with a postcard so you could start that off.
Thank you so much, Katharine. We will now move on to the remainder of our question and answer portion of this webinar. As a reminder, please make sure to submit your questions via the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. Our first question is for Raven. Raven, can you clarify how students can ship items to campus prior to move-in day?
So if students haven't been to Mail Services website yet, that would be a good website to go to see your address, but you can ship to Heitzman Mail Center using your campus address, which I believe is 6515 Wydown Boulevard. All of you should have received an MSC code, if I'm not mistaken. And then so you'll put all of that information using your MSC code and then ship that to mail services. And they will have your packages available once you arrive to campus.
Great, thank you.
Raven, I just want to add one thing. We will put a link in the chat to information about how you find out how to mail things to campus. The address Raven gave is for students who live on the South 40. We know there might be some families of transfer students who are on this call and students may not be living at that same address.
Yes.
Katharine, how long do families stay on campus for orientation?
You know, it really depends on the student and the family. We have hundreds of students due to whatever the circumstances are, distance, work, family obligations, that they travel on their own to St. Louis. This is particularly the case with our international students. Many of them are coming here alone for students who are traveling great distances. And so hundreds of students are here on their own, and we will make sure that they are well supported and have great student leaders, have meals with them, make sure they know where they're going, and they have a friend on the first day. We have other families who will come early next week to kind of take a mini vacation to St. Louis and, stay, the whole week through move in and leave on Sunday. And then we have other folks who, they want to come to campus to drop off their student, but it really is kind of like a quick drive by, right? They're coming on Saturday, they may be leaving late Saturday night. So it truly is dependent. But I will say the majority of our families do leave St. Louis on Sunday, August 22nd.
Raven, I know you had mentioned this in your presentation, but we have a number of folks who are asking, where can student and family members park long-term on move-in day?
Students, parents and families and students can park long-term in our Easton garage. It's located off of Forsyth, and we'll have shuttles going from the Easton garage back to Simon Lot. But if you are open to walking, I believe it's like a 10-ish minute walk from the Easton garage back to Simon Lot into the 40. So it's not a long walk at all, but we'll have some shuttle service available as well. But the Easton garage is where long-term parking is. Just so we're clear, there is no long-term parking on the 40. Easton garage is where you will be parking long-term.
It's also a beautiful walk, family members, if you are choosing to go that way. Katharine, would you mind going over again what family members may need to do for the guest COVID screening or when they are arriving here on campus?
Certainly. So for all of our employees and our students, they complete a daily screening every day, which many of you may be doing for your own work as well. It asks to check to make sure that you aren't exhibiting any of the COVID symptoms. It asks if you've been in close contact with someone who tested positive for COVID, et cetera. We ask the same of all of our visitors. And so every day that you are coming to our campus, so if that means that you are here on Thursday because you got here early and you want to, walk campus because it's beautiful, please fill out that visitor screening before stepping foot on our campus. Please do it before you, arrive to the Simon Lot for move in. And then you'll do it every day that you're on our campus before you step foot on campus. Once your student has moved in, either on the 20th or the 21st, and you've got all their stuff in their room, we ask that you send at least one family member to the first year center, which is located on the South 40. We will check you in for parent and family orientation. We have some resources to share, those wash you masks, and then we'll also give those tickets for the gift at the Chancellor's Welcome.
Raven, I have a couple of questions that pertain to actual move-in. So the first one, will staff be available to help students and families with the actual move-in process? I know you'd mentioned this in your presentation, but we do have some folks who are asking what that looks like.
We have hired professional movers who will be in red t-shirts and lovely red masks who are going to be ready to help you move your things in. So we have teams stationed at all of our buildings, and they'll be ready to help you unload your cars and take your items upstairs. Now, we will always welcome help with them because that will make the process go a lot faster for you all and get you to long-term back to the South 40. But we will have hired some professional movers to help move things in.
A second follow-up question that a number of folks are asking, can families and students come with multiple cars for move-in day if they have small cars? Is it something that you would suggest?
I would suggest trying to get as many things into one car as possible. I only say that just to be courteous of the folks who are also trying to move in on move-in day. So if you all don't know yet, y'all are a large class. So we're just trying to make sure that we can keep the flow of traffic nice for everyone. And so if you can get everything in one car and then everyone else can go park in long-term right away, that would make the lines a lot easier as we get ready to move people in on move-in day.
We promise it is like a very well-oiled machine.
Yes,
how they like move folks through. So we appreciate all the help that you can give to us as we're trying to move you all through quickly. Katharine, we have some questions from family members of new transfer students. A family member writes, I don't see any programming for families of new transfer students. Should these families watch the parent and family recordings?
Yeah, so in our experience, in the past, very few of our transfer students have traveled with families to WashU, probably, maybe 20%. And I'm rounding up probably a good 5% on that. And so because of that, we do have a less robust family programming in the middle of the week. So instead, I encourage families of transfer and exchange students to participate in the live streams or the recordings of the parent and family orientation offerings earlier in the weekend.
Pivot a little bit, Katharine. Many of our family members and many of our students have never been to WashU before. Will there be tours offered during move-in day or bare beginnings?
Yes, we have tours available on both the 20th and the 21st. So on the 20th and the 21st, we have tours leaving every hour from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. And then when our transfer students are here, if you are a family of an international student, the Office of International Students and Scholars is handling that. If you're a transfer of if you are the family of a U.S. citizen who's a transfer student, then the First Year Senate will be managing this tours. People arrive on different dates if they're international, domestic, because our international students need to come a couple of days early to do jet lag, get a bank account, a cell phone, et cetera. And so we will have lots of tours available. We know that people are excited to see campus, and we're excited to show it to you.
Raven, we have some folks who are asking, will students get their student IDs when they receive their room keys? Are there other things that they receive at that check-in that are important to know?
Yes, so students will receive their campus IDs when they move in. But if you have not submitted your photo yet, just know that will delay your process, and we won't be able to give you a key until you go to Campus Card Services and take your picture and get an ID printed for you. So they'll be open on move-in day, but we'd love for you not to wait until then to make sure that we can have a smooth move-in process for you and give your key to you once you check in.
Pivoting a little bit, Raven, do all residential colleges or residential buildings contain a full-use kitchen?
Yes, all of our communities have kitchens. So I know that we did a tour today that showed you one in Lee, and I know LK showed you one as well. So they have a stove, they have a fridge, they have a sink, all available for students to use.
And we highly encourage you all to take a look at some of these virtual tours of these buildings, because there are many, many great things that are happening in our residence halls. Katharine, when do meal plans activate for students? Will my student be able to eat off of their meal plan since they're arriving so early?
So meal plans for all of our students activate on Wednesday, August 18th. If there are any athlete families on here, so I don't know if there are any football families that those students moved in yesterday, but the football team will be providing meals for the football players up until the 18th. And then many of our athletes are arriving on the 17th, and they will be provided dinner by the team on the 17th is typically what happens. And then on the 18th, their meal plan will turn on.
Raven, are family members able to enter the residence halls after their move-in day? So say on Sunday, August 22nd, or is it only on the day that they're moving in that they can enter the residence hall?
Parents and families are able to enter the residence halls after move-in day, but we make sure you're following all of the university policies every time you're on campus. So just because you did it once the day before, it doesn't mean you don't have to do it again. It's really good for tracing and making sure we're making all of our students are safe. So please make sure to complete all of the requirements every time you're on campus. But we also recommend, let them get acclimated. So it's also good if you need to get back to what you need to do, we'll take good care of them.
Catherine, how do we as family members or students find out more details about the orientation schedule, such as where events are located?
Yes, so you probably noticed that all we have online right now are kind of those block schedules. So early next week, both our students and families will receive emails from the First Year Center with more details about orientation. It'll include the reminders about MoveIn that Raven just covered. We will explain again about the COVID protocols and the daily screenings. And then there will be a link to an app that actually, like a cell phone app that provides the schedule. And then we'll also have an accommodation option for people who don't have a cell phone to look at the app.
Catherine, we have many family members who are very excited about this campus tour. Can you clarify, is this something that you would sign up for, or is it something that you would just show up for? Can you give us some more details there?
Sure, I was a little vague, wasn't I? So you do not need to RSVP specifically for the campus tours. We will have, again, on Friday, the 20th and Saturday, the 21st, leaving beginning at 10 a.m. Up until last tour leaves at 3 p.m. You just show up at the Summers Welcome Center. Again, these details will be in the email we're sending, and then as well as the event app. But we have many student tour guides available. And so there is no need to sign up in advance. It's honestly very complicated to ask people to sign up for a tour in advance, because on move-in day, we don't do that because, maybe you ran to Target and you needed an extra 30 minutes and then you can't make your tour. We don't want you to feel stressed about that. So there are several tour groups leaving each hour. So it's not like one tour group will leave at 10 a.m. There will be like 10 tour groups that leave at 10 a.m., 10 tour groups that leave at 11 a.m.
So it was shared earlier today that that students will be able to meet their resident advisor in a residential community meeting in the evenings. Will resident advisors be on the floors to welcome and greet their students during the move-in days?
Yes, they will. All of them will be around their communities, answering questions, welcoming families, and just ready to start the year off strong.
Raven, we have some family members who are asking for more clarification. Did you say move-in procedures are different for students arriving on Friday, the 20th? Where's that information that they can find regarding their move-in?
So students who are arriving on the 20th will have a very similar experience on the 20th as the 21st. So we will still have movers assisting you all to move your things in. We will still be checking in at Simon Lot. You will still receive the same experience as the 21st. All of that information can be found on our website on our move-in page. So you can read that in detail there, but it will be the same.
Great, thank you. Catherine, you had mentioned a little bit earlier about our Washington University Student Associates, our WUSAs. Will my students' WUSA be with them for their entire first year or just during their beginnings?
So the WUSA serves as an orientation leader during fall welcome, taking them to all of these various required events. But then during the academic year, our WUSAs are paired with residential floors. And so the WUSA will hold, we call them WUSA hours, they're a little bit like office hours for a faculty member, but they'll hold those 2 hours per week on the residential floor where they'll do programming, some surrounded around academic deadlines like add drop to make sure students know when to add and drop classes, how to register for their spring semester classes. And then they'll also do programming to have students explore St. Louis. So WUSAs take students to a Cardinals game. We have rented out the St. Louis Zoo for a private event for our undergraduate students right after classes begin, and the WUSAs will take them to that as well. So they're there the whole year, both the fall and the spring semester.
Can students attend parent and family orientation events along with their families, or are these strictly for families only?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? My toddler was yelling.
No worries. So for the parent and family orientation events, there are some events that look appealing to both family members and students. Are these only for students, or are they for both students and family members?
The events are specifically for families. We will be speaking about these resources in a way for about how families can help support their student from afar. The one event that students are invited to is the resource fair over lunch. We know that most of our students and families want to eat together for lunch and then walk the resource fair together. We have found that on Sunday of Parent Family Orientation, many of our students may choose to sleep in or spend some extra time getting settled in their room.
Great, thank you so much. How should students, Raven, how should students get from the Simon lot to the South 40 if they are Ubering to campus?
So we'll be able to provide you with some assistance, but you're going to have to help us a little bit in getting your things over there. So we have a little bit of help from the Simon lot onto the 40, and we'll get you directed to your building. And then from there, the movers can help get the rest of your things into your building. So you may have to walk like just about 5-ish minutes, not even on the underpass, and then we'll make sure you get acclimated into your building all right.
Speaking of Ubers, is there an address for the Simon lot for students to give their Uber, and how can they find that?
So I put on the website a little Google drop. Now, if that doesn't work for I would practice uploading it in your phone first to see if that works. But if that doesn't, you can put Simon Hall in, and pretty much all of our buildings on campus, cars will be able to go directly to them. And so that'll take you straight to Simon lot. I'll give you that way it doesn't be confusing on move-in day. So Simon Hall is probably what you would want to put in there as well.
Pivoting gears a little bit, Katharine, will students have a chance to meet with their four-year advisors during the course of Bare Beginnings?
So each undergraduate academic division does advising slightly differently. In arts and sciences, they've already met with their advisors one-on-one, and so they'll do a group advising session. Actually, Ronaldo and I are both four-year academic advisors in the College of Arts and Sciences as well. And so our students will be meeting with us in small groups. In the Olin Business School, for example, they meet one-on-one. And so it looks a little bit different for each school, but all of the undergraduate academic divisions do have time for their advisees to meet with their advisors. Sometimes it's in a group, sometimes it's scheduled individually. Like I know for my students, we'll meet as a group and then I'll have time available for them to individually if they choose to. I think about a third to half of my advisees will, choose to meet with me individually, and then the other half, we've already been in communication so many times this summer that they have their questions answered.
I know that this is a very specific kind of question, Katharine, but what type of shoes do you recommend students bring for Bare Beginnings?
Okay, this is a really personal question. I was thinking what shoes I would recommend wearing for me. I would wear sneakers. I would wear closed-toed, athletic, comfortable shoes. We will have students who wear really beautiful sandals. We will have some people who have really fabulous high heels. We will have some folks who have like these really great dress shoes like my husband wears where he works in a medical school. It is just total personal preference. There is a lot of walking though. And I personally would say comfort over anything else. There's some pretty fashionable sneakers that our students have. So I would wear comfy shoes.
Raven, could you clarify the Uhaul policies once more, please?
Yes, give me 1 second. I will make sure. So on move-in day, we recommend that we know that you're going to have a lot of things, okay? And that's okay. But we encourage you all to try to fit it into one vehicle. This way we can manage traffic nice and smooth. U-Hauls tend to take up 2 to 3 car spaces, which means that prevents other people from getting onto the 40 and getting unloaded. So on move-in day, if you bring a U-Haul, we're asking that you park your U-Haul in the church lot and unload it. Now, the next question may be if you'll receive assistance from the church lot. We will not be able to provide assistance of unloading at the church lot, primarily because we'll be providing assistance all across the 40 for our buildings, and our team is already spread across to support arriving at the building. So if you're bringing a U-Haul, we understand and we have a space for you to unload, but we do encourage you not to bring one and to do your shopping once you get here.
Speaking of helping us understand what items to consider bringing or not, where can student and families find the packing list of what to bring on campus?
So the First Year Center has a lovely website where you can find a very detailed, and I mean robust, PDF of what you need to bring on campus or suggestions of what not to bring on campus. So if you need to view that list, it's just linked there just now. So view that packing list in full. And if you've already done your shopping, no problem.
Catherine, who should students get in touch with if they have an accommodation that they need to have for their beginnings?
So students completed an orientation registration form in their WashU pathway, which was the way that they learned that they were admitted to WashU. It's the way that they submitted their housing application. So all but 14 of our students in the class of 2025 completed that registration form. And so we have those accommodations. If a student, recently had an unfortunate accident, maybe they broke a leg and they're in a cast right now, and it's a temporary accommodation that we're not already aware of, we ask that the student email the first year center at firstyearcenter@worcester.edu so that we can make sure that the student can fully participate in Fall Welcome.
Raven, this is a very specific kind of question, but for students who whose housing was a double that has been turned into a single for this year, will the other furniture be in that room as well, or is that going to be removed from that room before the student arrives?
So the other furniture will remain. So I know on our live today, you probably saw the room that we were able to show. Just know that that room has always been dedicated as a single space. So that is what we showed you just to kind of get a feel for the furniture. But those rooms that have been turned into a single, which is only Lebo, I believe, will have the furniture remaining in the room. It is still very spacious. If you look at our virtual housing tour page, we have an example perfectly on that website page. So it is still very spacious. It'll not take up more room. If anything, you have more things to decorate around. So just get creative.
I know you've shared this already, Raven, but what does a student need to make sure that they bring with them to check in?
Make sure you have your immunization paperwork if necessary, but we recommend that you do that before you come to campus. Make sure that you have a form of ID because we need to verify who you are when you arrive because you won't have a campus ID. So we'll need to know that we believe you, but you just never know. So we need to make sure you say you are who you are. And I think there was one more, but I don't recall. The PowerPoint will be shared is what I will say.
The PowerPoint is shared. Catherine, can you tell us a little bit more about plans for Parent and Family Weekend?
Certainly. So Parent and Family Weekend for WashU is scheduled for the end of October. I need to look at a calendar. So I know it bumps up against Halloween, but I'm gonna make sure I get the right dates for you all. Parent and Family Weekend will take place October 29th through October 31st. We are planning to host Parent and Family Orientation or Parent and Family Weekend in person on the WashU campus. Like all things that, for the past 18 months, we are closely watching COVID-19, and we will adjust our event offerings to support the current public health guidelines of our university, the county, and the city where we're located. And so, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to have the Voices and Sounds a cappella concert because it necessitates people being in an indoor space where hundreds of students are singing together. And right now that wouldn't meet our COVID protocol guidelines, but we do anticipate being able to offer walking tours of St. Louis, helping students and families to access tickets to visit the Missouri Botanical Gardens, Union Station, the Arch, other key event locations around St. Louis. And then we will be offering the tailgate before the football game because that will take place outside. Everyone hope for really good weather because the end of October, it could be really beautiful, like the trees you see here in my background, or it could be a little chilly. And for those of us from St. Louis, we don't do cold football games. I know those of you from, like Chicago, Minnesota, Michigan, you're good with a chilly football game.
Moving back to that question, Raven, our third item was to make sure that all items are labeled. Can you share one more time the minimum stuff that you would ideally want our students to label onto their belongings?
Get you some blue tape or some duct tape or something and put your full name, your building name, and your room number. Full name, building name, and room number.
Perfect. We are going to ask one last question for the evening. Panelists, thank you so much for the information that you shared tonight. Our last question, what piece of advice do you have for our new students and their families leading up to Move-In Day and Bare Beginnings Fall Welcome? Raven, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you first.
Last piece of advice, I would say read the website and read your emails. It is important that you all know in full the details of your logistics, and if we're missing something, please let us know. But we are encouraging you to read the website first, read the FAQs, really understand the process, and make sure when you come to campus, you're fully equipped to just move right through check-in because you know exactly what's happening. So read the website and read your emails.
Great, thank you so much, Raven. Katharine, one last piece of advice.
So I'm going to do two. My first one is, to come with an open mind to, be able to explore campus, enjoy that campus tour, to hear from our colleagues about how you can partner with the university to make sure your student succeeds academically here, has healthy well-being, feels safe and secure. So please come with an open mind to learn about those resources and support systems. And then my second one is because you asked specifically, Reggie, is that I think you should wear sneakers to orientation, because I did not when I was an undergraduate student. I wore really cute sandals and it was not the best idea. Wear sneakers.
Panelists, thank you again so much. Families, we really hope that you were able to learn some valuable information this evening. As a reminder, this webinar recording will be shared at families.wustl.edu's website next week. Please stay tuned for our fall family webinar series, which are coming soon. Topics and dates will be released at our families.wustl.edu website. We'll see you all soon.